Welcome everybody to our session, Beyond the Hype, Making AI Work for Your Business. My name is Sarah Warsey and I am the Marketing Manager for Sentia. Today we are going to move beyond the headlines and explore how organizations can turn AI from an interesting concept into a practical business tool that delivers measurable results. We're pleased to have Victor Josevich, Sentia's Microsoft and AI practice lead, leading today's discussion. Throughout the session, we'll be launching a couple of polls, so we encourage everyone to participate and keep the session interactive. And we also have the ability to have people share questions or comments in the chat, and we will have a Q&A session at the end. So with that said, we are going to get started as people come in. So I'm sure many of us on the call are new to Sentia, so I just wanted to give a brief overview about us. So Sentia is a trusted Canadian leader in high-value IT solutions, and we are based in Richmond Hill, Ontario. We have 20 years of proven expertise and a global footprint spanning across 22 countries. Our strength essentially lies in our people. We have a passionate team of 35 professionals, including 24 technical specialists, that are all committed to delivering innovative technology solutions. From cybersecurity and data protection to hybrid cloud, of course, AI and beyond, we provide cutting-edge services backed by a very robust portfolio of managed services and professional services. And I want to point out that what sets us apart is our unique ability to conceptualize, design, implement, and manage our full suite of solutions. And we essentially act as an extension of your team. And you can learn much more about us by visiting our website at sentia.ca. And I'm going to move it over to Victor now. Victor, over to you.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining the webinar. A little bit about myself. Been in the industry for over 15 years, helping organizations across North America, the Caribbean, really focusing on transforming and achieving business outcomes through technology. We've done a lot of enterprise level. We've done a lot of SMB. We've really worked with all walks of life, let's say. That includes everything from Microsoft directly, Digicel, BMO, RBC, Aviva Canada, Tech Resources, Canaccord, and TMX Group, and a lot of industries. So we really touch everything from finance, banking, to small business, as well as, of course, mining and so forth. And really where I specialize, where my deep expertise lies, and is really the Microsoft stack. Everything from Office 365, on-prem, Azure, cloud technologies, and that recently, especially with the boom, AI focused.
Wonderful. Thank you, Victor. Go ahead, Victor.
Oh, yep. So the whole goal of this webinar and the whole idea is really to get you introduced with how to run a successful AI project. And what you'll take away of it is how AI today rhymes with the early days of cloud and the lessons that still apply, why so many AI initiatives stall before they even get started and really deliver value, what successful organizations are doing, how to move from experimentation to scalability to measurable outcome, a practical framework to drive ROI, which is really the key what all industries are looking for. Next slide.
Okay, it's time for a poll. So bear with me. I'm going to initiate the poll in just a moment. I actually may have to stop sharing for a second. Oh, here we go. Okay, bear with me, everyone. I apologize. Okay. Alrighty, I'm about to launch the poll, so feel free to respond accordingly, and then just X out the screen afterwards. And just hit the submit button when you're done. It's a mixture of responses there. Very interesting. Proving ROI is looking to be the top contender. Okay, excellent. Thank you everyone for that. So we are going to go back to the presentation. Okay, Victor, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah. So I'd like to start it off with saying AI right now is everywhere. Budgets are up and impact lags. 95% of enterprise Gen AI pilots show no to measurable ROI. The question is, where is your organization? Are you experimenting? Are you piloting? Or are you already at the scaling stage? Remember, activity is not the same as impact, and impact is what everyone is really looking for. Every organization hits the same 4 barriers that we see in the market. They have unclear ROI, their competing priorities, limited capacity, and tools with no path. The real question you need to ask yourself is which one hurts your organization the most? We've seen this movie before. In 2010, people asked, is cloud secure? And is it even a real thing that'll last? This is right before it reshaped the entire IT industry. Those that were early adopters saw the most benefit, took full advantage. The rest came later, and some are still left behind at this point. AI is at the same inflection point. The technology is new, but the adoption playbook isn't. And right now, those late adopters are feeling the most pain. Back then, the same skepticism was exactly what's seen today. Value came from pre-imaging process, not a lift and shift. Winners started with an outcome, a driver. And now, exactly the same is true for AI. Redesign the workflow, start with the outcome, not the tools. The technology is new, but again, the playbook is not. Gartner expected 30% of Gen AI projects to be abandoned after proof of concept, and that was expected by the end of 2015. The 4 reasons map directly to the roadblocks on slide 4. Data is not ready, skills and adoption gaps, weak governance and trust, and no line of sight to ROI. You need to ask yourself, which one does your organization relate to? Almost every experiment, almost everyone experiments, but really few reach production and few are even able to scale. According to the McKinsey study, about 2 in 3 organizations haven't even begun to scale AI enterprise-wide, and only 39 see impact at the enterprise P&L level. This gap isn't ambition, it's the leap from pilot to production. That's what the rest of the season of this session really solves. Slide 9, we need to really pivot to the problem of success. Perfect. The winners aren't using better models or LLMs. They work differently. They start with the outcome, fix the foundations along the way, empower the people, and govern for trust, and scale what works. MIT says successful pilots integrate deeply into one workflow and often partner rather than build everything in-house. Next slide. So how do you achieve this success? You want to frame it, prove it, operationalize it, scale it, and compound it. Let's spend some time on the 2 most important factors. The frame. You want to define the metric up front. This is where most efforts fail. Then you want to compound. Reinvest in the wins, retire the rest. This is the mechanism for crossing the pilot to production gap from the previous slide that we saw. The in-between is more technical, and really this is where skill and experience is going to be your greatest asset. So what should you prioritize? Let's look at it this way. We've got two axes that drive success. We've got business value and readiness to deliver. Quick wins in the top right is really where you want to start. Why? High value, ready now, and it's a low-hanging fruit with the fastest ROI to start the snowball effect. Once you have that, we can look at the bigger ambitions. This is where big bets start. High value, but may take higher investment to make them ready. Then we can look at the nice to haves. They're easy, but low value. We can automate all that later. And of course, the parquet is the stuff you can leave down the line and really get to once you have all the other pieces in place. The goal isn't really to have more pilots. It's to have the right short list. You will be picturing your own ideas on this landing. And I hope you're doing that as we speak. You can't scale or fund what you can't measure. Let's look at the four lenses. We have productivity costs, revenue and growth, quality and risk. The single rule that matters most is set the baseline before the pilot so that the ROI is undeniable after. This is the discipline most stalled initiatives skip. Okay, so let's walk through one real use case end to end and really have an idea. We had one request, which was an AI-assisted AI proposal and quote drafting tool. Where we started, right in the score it, we saw that this would deliver high value, high readiness, so it lands as a quick win. This is where we really start. This is where the company already had a proven process, they had it well documented, and we could easily go from blueprint to development to deployment fast and really showcase the power of AI, really show what AI is capable of, and really set the pace for the future of all the projects. This is where the snowball effect starts. We framed the outcome. Very simple. Faster proposals, senior time back. At the end of it, the ROI was very easy to identify and undeniable. We had 40% draft reduction time per proposal. That meant that we were able to get better utilization out of the engineers that were doing the draft proposals. They were able to get it quicker. Faster turnaround is always a happier customers. 12 senior hours reclaimed a week. 12 senior hours is 2 days of an engineer's time that was reclaimed. Something that they could rehone their effort to, relook at exactly what they can improve on, and really be more in depth in their current role rather than stressing about deadlines. And of course, not only did we reclaim the 12 hours of senior engineer time, but we also reclaimed the 2 days from proposal cycle, which in turn gave a happy customer because they got a faster turnaround, and in turn increased the win rate because they were more satisfied with the outcome of this proposal, what we had going on, and exactly how we were doing things, which in turn just was a massive improvement and really framed and set up the future AI projects for success. And this is really what we're kind of looking for. This is the same kind of lens that works for any use case for any company. You want to follow those steps because at the end of the day, that is what matters to leadership and of course the decision makers. They want to see success and they want to see proven ROI as well as proven metrics that show, hey, this investment is well worth it and this is definitely something that we should engage in. All right, so what we hear most out in the field is pilots that went nowhere. And this is really because No execution is quite common in the field. We need to define the outcome and the baseline for success. And once we do that, success will follow. It really isn't a case of we put together a pilot and the technology didn't work. 90% of the time, it's not a failure of the technology, it's the failure of the implementation, and more importantly, the failure of the outcome. That is what's driving a lot of AI implementations to go from pilot to nowhere. And that's really what we want to fix. And this is, again, where you need to define the outcome and the baseline. Data isn't ready. This is a very common one. A lot of organizations are not at the stage where they feel their data is ready. And this is understandable. Just like we saw with the cloud lift and shift, a lot of customers that are able to right now take advantage of AI implementations have all their data in the cloud or in a place where it's properly defined and properly managed. Now, this doesn't have to be a blocker. Scope to the data you already have, the data you already trust, and you really don't need to boil the ocean. Let's boil a pot first to start and use what we have to show the future potential. From there, you can work with more data that comes in, and in future projects, get your data to where it needs to be. But first, show that there is prospect and that the investment is worth it. Security risks. Again, a lot of companies are worried about the security risks that come along with it. It's a governance question, not a blocker. Tooling matters here. In our example, we tend to lean towards Copilot, for example. It has the data guardrails and security that can be deployed quickly that most organizations are looking for, which is why we say it's not really a blocker. It's just something that has to be taken into account. When you're doing a small pilot, it's very easy to frame it properly and make the case for the future. This is again where the outcome will drive the value and drive the investment. The other thing we see a lot is, again, no capacity. You need one prioritized use case and a partner that gets you your first win, and that will drive the future of success. Be it building on your existing POC or building or creating new initiatives along the way. Again, we don't want to boil the ocean. One win turns into 2 wins, turns into 3, and in a year, it all adds up. And that is really what we're looking to drive, is that large add up to see what AI can do in your organization, get those wins for you under your belt, and really drive to the modern AI solution. Imagine if you used this strategy last year, where your organization would be today. Okay, so this is one of the key slides that most people have come here for. And this is really where we're looking to give you something back. It is your path forward. And again, what we like to always recommend is pick 1 to 2 high ROI use cases from the top right of the matrix that we saw before, that hopefully everyone was envisioning, and build the foundation once so it's reusable. Prove, measure, then scale. We always like to look at what your company is doing, what your company is spending time on, and really look at what you can easily accomplish with the most ROI. Start small, start where the value is the clearest, then compound and build. This is where you're going to really drive adoption, you're going to drive ROI, and most importantly, you're going to drive the concept. And as we said throughout this entire slide deck and through this whole presentation, once you start that snowball effect, it's just going to get bigger. Most companies get paralyzed at the amount of steps and the amount that they have to do to get to where they're going. And to be honest with you, this is what ends up happening. It's analysis paralysis. They can't move on and they get stuck in the little details. And this is where we see pilots dying rather than moving into implementation and expanding into growth. And this is really where you need to refocus yourself and make sure, it doesn't matter how small it is, look at the ROI, look at the proof of concept, and look at what you can build on top of. And based on that, that's where we can move on and really drive growth within the company and adoption of AI. From there, everything is going to follow. You'll be able to prove with metrics as well as ROI that the solution is a valued asset to the company. You'll be able to drive adoption, and adoption will drive growth, and growth will always be positive on your company. And this is really what sets a lot of companies that are successful apart from the companies that are not so successful with their AI implementation. Now, I'm assuming that a lot of you have probably started to dabble. You may be in a pilot or implementation stage. At least I hope you are. And I'm hoping that that's really going to drive and maybe need to refocus your existing deployment or experimentation with AI and really help you adapt and really help you grow your AI implementation to something that becomes valuable to the company. And more importantly, that drives success, which is really what everyone's looking for. Next slide.
Oh, I think we're ready for another poll.
Yep.
Okay. Give me 1 second while I launch. Okay. Thank you, Victor.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just get our final poll of the session. Okay, here we go. Give it a minute. Okay, there you go. Feel free to respond to the poll as you wish. And just hit the submit button. Wonderful. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so here we are.
Wonderful. Again, every organization's best opportunities differ. Anyone interested to go deeper, let's have a focus follow-up that maps to yours. I see there's a lot of interest in Microsoft Copilot and employee productivity, which is great because the tool set is just getting better and better. Microsoft has recently introduced Cowork, which we're seeing a lot of traction on, and more importantly, a lot of production value is added to a lot of companies. We're also seeing that people are looking for AI-powered customer service chatbots. That's very common. This is one of the greatest uses for AI in your organization today. Something that'll quickly be either on a site, within your teams, or somewhere that customers can easily talk to, get the answers they want, and really drive value. And let your employees focus on the more important tasks and the more ROI tasks. AI can easily handle the mundane tasks, the things that are very easy to reply with customers. And again, they can do it usually faster, which results in happier customers or prospects. And of course, build on top of that. And that's really what everyone's looking to do, right? How can AI help your organization to build, provide ROI, and scale faster? This is going to be an inflection point that's really going to matter. And the customers today who are experimenting, piloting, and really working towards getting an AI implementation that works for them earlier on are going to be tomorrow's leaders, as opposed to same thing with the cloud initiative, where customers fell behind And then they got to a point where the catch up was almost impossible. And it took a lot of initial investment to get to that catch up. We don't want anyone there. We're always looking to help everyone, whether they need assistance, whether they want to do a full implementation, everything is possible. All you need to do is, like I said, get the right frame, get the right process, get the right metrics, team with a partner. You don't have to do everything internally. You don't have to do everything with a partner either. You can mix and match, take it as a learning experience. There's many different ways to get you to the end goal. The important part is not to sit on the sidelines, but to take action, and more importantly, start. Even if your initiatives are small, those usually snowball. Those are the initiatives that end up proving their worth, proving the product, and at the end, that drives your growth. So anyone interested, I'm always more than happy to have a deeper, focused follow-up conversation. You can get in touch with either myself or David, and we look forward to hearing from some of you, if not all. I'll hand it back to you, Sarah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Victor. That was great. On behalf of all of us, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. We are going to take a few minutes to open up the floor for any questions.
Yeah,
Victor, do you see anything in the chat or in the Q&A section there that we can address?
I do see the chat. Nope, no one in chat.
And how
And
about the
nothing in
Q&A?
Q&A so far.
Okay.
We have left it open to the floor for questions. Anyone that wants to ask anything or have any questions that they want to have myself answer, now's a great time.
And as Victor mentioned, we will provide his and David's contact info. And if you don't want to pose a question now, you can certainly have a follow-on discussion with him. So if there are no questions, then we will wrap it up. And please look out for an email in your inbox with regards to the Uber Eats incentive for qualified attendees. You will be hearing from us regarding that in the next day or so. I want to thank everybody again for joining, and we wish you a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.